Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing a complete start-to-finish review of an absolutely fascinating seminar on the psychology of selling. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a freelancer, or literally just someone hoping to finally land that promotion, we are going to use hard data to totally rewire your fear-based mindset about sales. Let's jump right in.
So why does the simple act of asking for money make us feel physically sick? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Your stomach ties itself in absolute knots, your palms start sweating. The seminar we're unpacking today kicks off with this really striking observation about that exact visceral dread we feel when we have to, sell ourselves. But as we're going to see, that reaction is totally irrational. Because when you really survey that fear, what are we actually so afraid of? The research dives deep into this and shows that people are harboring this deep-seated anxiety about failing or getting harshly judged. We're terrified of looking, kind of embarrassing in front of our peers. Actually, scratch that. It's not even a business problem. It's literally just a fear of social rejection in a trench coat. And that brings us to the massive disconnect, what we think selling is versus what it actually is. Culturally, we've got this outdated hangover where we assume sales equals manipulation, sleazy tactics, high-pressure traps. But the reality? True selling is just a value exchange. It's helping. It's problem-solving. You bring your skills to the table, and people happily hand over their money because you just made their lives easier. It's really that simple. Now, to completely shatter this whole everyone hates salespeople myth, the seminar didn't just throw theories at us. They brought receipts. They surveyed 366 normal, everyday consumers. Just people going about their lives answering one simple question. How do you actually feel when someone tries to sell you something? And the results, honestly, they're kind of mind-blowing. Out of those 366 people, a whopping 280 viewed salespeople positively or at least totally neutrally. 280! On the flip side, only 15 people had purely negative feelings. The rest were basically just situational. That means the vast, overwhelming majority of people are completely fine with it. So when we look at that massive positive and neutral majority, it proves we've basically been living in a false reality. We walk into meetings assuming everyone is out to get us, but more than half the population reacts completely warmly and calmly to being sold a good service. They view it as a totally normal, respectable profession. They aren't looking for a fight. They're literally just looking for a solution. Which means we really need to impact those rare, 15 purely negative responses. Why were they so mad? Well, the data shows it wasn't the selling itself that upset them. It was pushy, intrusive behavior. It was dishonesty or someone trying to peddle low-quality junk. And honestly, sometimes it was just the buyer's own personal baggage, completely unrelated to the seller. So looking closely at this raw feedback, genuine hostility is incredibly rare. Buyers only get defensive and tense when they can smell desperation or when they feel manipulated. If you skip the pushy tactics and just bring genuine value to the conversation, boom. Those walls drop immediately and you just get to have a normal human conversation. All this data really points to one thing. The slimy, aggressive used car salesman trope is completely dead. It's a ghost. We literally have to stop letting an outdated, completely imaginary stereotype block us from sharing our talents or asking for what we're actually worth. The seminar points out that feeling humiliated by selling is just a toxic cultural myth. And it's a dangerous one too, because it actively stops brilliant minds from bringing world-changing ideas to the market. Just think about that for a second. How much global innovation is just lost because ridiculously talented people are simply too embarrassed to, quote-unquote, sell their vision. So, if we're tossing out the pushy stereotype, what's the anatomy of the ideal salesperson? Well, according to the consumers surveyed, they don't want a loud predator. They want an honest, respectful problem solver. Someone who offers high-quality stuff, treats them with genuine respect, focuses entirely on fixing their specific issue, and just adapts naturally without being annoying. The authentic feedback is so clear here. Real people literally wrote things in the survey like, "I am loyal to polite sellers," and "I respect honesty." It proves without a doubt that if you offer something useful and operate with absolute integrity, you are going to be met with respect. Treat people well, and they respond in kind. It's human nature. And here is the absolute best part of the whole seminar. You don't have to force some fake, hyper-extroverted, overly caffeinated persona to be good at this. You don't need to memorize robotic scripts that make your skin crawl. Instead, it's all about discovering your unique sales energy. We all have completely different potentials and energy types. Maybe you're super analytical or quietly empathetic or incredibly enthusiastic.
Whatever your inherent energy is, you can harness that to connect with people authentically. You don't have to change who you are. You just have to lean into it.
Now, taking a step back, this seminar shifts gears from psychology to global philosophy. It contrasts two huge economic cycles. On one hand, you have the scarcity and cheap cycle, demanding pirated goods or stuff for pennies while completely ignoring the human cost. And on the other hand, there's the abundance and quality cycle, which is built entirely on fair trade and mutual respect. When you look at the real-world outcomes, engaging in high-quality, honest sales isn't taking advantage of anyone. You're actually fueling that abundance and quality cycle. This is the cycle that literally pays people normal wages, funds vital scientific research, and boosts prosperity across the board. Selling good stuff at fair prices is a massive contribution to society. By insisting on quality materials and fair wages, you are taking a conscious stand. You are actively choosing to support the livelihoods of honest, hardworking people all along the supply chain. It's this incredible exchange of positive energy that creates a massive ripple effect for everyone involved.
I literally love this quote from the seminar. Selling is equivalent to helping people genuinely solve their problems. It completely reframes everything. Because if you have a skill that can remove a giant headache for someone else, holding it back out of fear is kind of doing them a disservice, right? Selling is just the mechanism to deliver that help. It's profoundly noble.
So let's redefine it once and for all. Sales is a necessary, honest exchange of value and energy that increases mutual prosperity and solves real-world problems. Once you internalize that definition, you can finally drop the guilt. You have every right to be well compensated for your hard work, and you can step into every transaction with immense pride. So what would happen if you finally let go of that old stigma and started confidently selling your unique value today? Think about it. How much would your business, your career, or just your daily life completely transform if you took this data-driven epiphany and put it into practice right now? Stop hiding what you do best and start genuinely helping people. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.